Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Stuttering in Silence. I'm one half of the podcast, Matthew J. Lepore, and today we're going to be talking about some kind of crazy happenings that are going on in the world with aliens and us finding out about UAPs, otherwise known as UFOs. So, as you guys always do, which I know you're great at it, but just keep doing it. Give us 5 stars on all the socials, all the ratings on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you guys are listening to. Helps us out, get up on the charts so you guys can hear more from us. So, with that being said, we're going to be diving more into the whole extraterrestrial beings that could possibly be in our oceans, and stay tuned. All right, guys. Looks like we're back to another kind of crazy topic. This has been all over TikTok, all over Instagram, all over everywhere. So it's been wild, the fact that Congress now is saying that UFOs or UAPs are coming from our oceans and all this crazy hoopla. And it blows my mind to where we've been talking about it for 10, 20 years. And now it's come to fruition where they're like, yo, it's like a real thing.
Yeah. I mean, it was funny because it's like, I think the first TikTok, I did see it on TikTok, and the first one I saw was where it was somebody in Congress was, going through the files, and they were going through everything that they were uncovering and all the secrets, I guess, that the government had kept locked up for X amount of time. So it's pretty insane to me.
Yeah.
Personally, it's not to me.
You don't think?
No, man. No, I mean, we all knew that this was going to come to pass eventually. I'm sure we've all heard the stories. We've seen stuff ourselves or whatever. I'm sure everyone has their own alien story, but nah, this ain't. I don't think this is anything new.
You don't think? I mean, it's still pretty insane that it's confirmed now.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is crazy that they're coming out and saying, "Hey, yeah, all the people that we called crazy, they were right." I'm sure not all of them, but it is it's interesting because you see our government actually stepping in front of it and just, hey, this is what's going on, guys. But I mean, think about like a different country. I don't want to say any other country out there's, history on alien spacecrafts or anything like that, but random example, say if you live in Spain.
Yeah.
Spanish people, the Spaniards are saying, "Hey, there ain't no aliens." And then you got the US government contradicting that. Who do you believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, it's actually terrifying because there was a thing that I saw where and we'll dive into this one a little further when we get more into it. But it's like how black holes mathematically in the ocean are close to the same as like black holes in space.
No, I'm okay. I didn't hear anything about it. There's a black hole in the ocean. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's like black holes that they say in the ocean, or like things that I forget what the term is, but they are mathematically as close to black holes as they are black holes in space.
How? That's crazy. I mean, because I always thought that like space was just one big vacuum, right? Everything is basically stagnant. And wait,
Yeah.
is that right?
Yeah, space is that's what they say. Is space is a vacuum.
Okay, right. Okay, so how is that even possible? I mean, it would make sense. That's why they said, "Oh, they're here. They've always been here." And they say what 80-90% of our oceans hasn't been discovered or anything like that.
Which is wild. Even if you look at like the marine life, I was telling Gavin at dinner. I guess lunch.
Yeah.
There's so many marine life that we like. It plops up or it comes out and it looks like foreign. And some of these fish or deep sea marine life have like human eyes and human teeth, and it's like, what is going on? And then this all breaks.
Yeah.
And it's like all of a sudden it all makes sense because it's like you see these aliens and quote unquote abductions and all these things that they steal from people. And then you're sitting thinking, oh, well, that's so crazy. Who would think that? And now you're looking at this marine life and you're like, oh, maybe there are actual aliens that are in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know we were talking about it a little bit a couple of months ago, but they were like, we just found a new fish and we found this, and I'm like,
Yeah.
coming up from the depths of the ocean, the lowest possible points was where they reside, and they're coming up, and it was tied to a megalodon theory.
Yeah.
But because they were saying that there was a megalodon. I don't know if it was like awakened or if it was found. I don't know, but there was fish and like creatures coming up from like the depths of the ocean that were even still unexplored, for the most part, that they never come up unless they're like in danger or like something in their environment.
Oh
completely
yeah,
shifts
yeah.
and-
It's like those big like eel-looking things.
Yeah. So yeah, I went into a deep dive on the megalodon a little bit, but
Okay.
so. But if you guys are ready, we can dive on in.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Huh,
So-
that's kind of ironic. It's the ocean. We're gonna dive in. Sorry,
Hey,
Gab.
Hey, man. So the review provided by the Department of Defense covers incidents the government refers to as unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, rather than UFOs, from May 1st, 2023 to June 1st of 2024. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, has received more than 757 UAP reports, including 485 from this period and 272 from 2021 to 2022.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's a lot in 2 years, or a lot in a year.
Yeah.
The U.S. military has its own concerns about these unknown objects possibly interfering with aircraft safety. 2 reports highlighted, quote, flight safety concerns, end quote, and 3 reports described pilots being trailed or shadowed by UAP. According to analysis so far. So far, AARO has not yet confirmed nor denied that these objects are attributed to international rivals. Recent congressional hearings have revealed significant insights into the U.S. government's handling of identified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs. I don't like you UAPs over UFOs.
me neither. I like UFOs.
UFOs is,
That's the OG.
that's where it started.
Yeah.
Right? Luis I'm going to mess this up. Luis Elizondo, a former senior intelligence official who once led the Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, testified that the U.S. possesses advanced, non-human technology and is involved in a covert global competition to reverse engineer such technology. He highlighted that these UAPs are actively monitoring military sites around the world and asserted that whistleblowers face intimidation and suppression.
True or false? True or false?
Wow.
What the senator's saying? True or
True.
false? True?
Got to be true.
It's true. I think I'd like to believe that putting your hand on the Bible is still a thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's true. Look at it this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
For hundreds of years, right? Thousands even. There's always been the talk of aliens, or what are aliens? Who are aliens? Where do they come from? Yada, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you have people in the government going, yo, they're here. Oh, man. Going that they are here. So I had to check mine too. That they're here, and you're like, okay, now it's like in our face. And
Yeah.
people are standing in front of Congress, as Luis said, and we'll have a clip for you guys to see in a moment. This is a real thing, and they're not necessarily saying they're coming for us or they're trying to hurt us in any sort of way, but you have to think, okay, well, if they're here and the technology is a little messed up and it's way more advanced than us.
Matt, we got to remember here. It's not if. It's come out. They are here. There's another form of beings that have been on Earth and have touched the surface of Earth or gone through our oceans. That's already come out.
Yeah.
It's crazy to say that. Like, it's crazy to say that.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually...
He said we're in a global race to reverse. They possess advanced non-human technology that their humans are in a global race to reverse engineer. So that means how many how many different countries knew about this, have known about this, and have been working diligently to figure out how to reverse engineer this to like, and we're just coming out like, yep, they exist, and the government's like, oh,
Did you ever
Race on.
what?
The race must be on then.
Well, I know he was saying too that there's already been like a race of technology advancement.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you ever see that movie Zoom
yeah,
with Tim Allen?
yeah,
No.
Is that he's got superpowers?
yeah, it's like way
Yeah.
back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Yeah. So this whole thing kind of reminds me of that because he was in this government organization. Or not organization, this government program, and they called it Area 51 or Area 52 is what it was. And they find the spacecraft that crash landed, and they've been testing it, and they have these aliens that supposedly work there, but. You even have like the Men in Black, those kind of movies, and it's after this congressional hearing, it's almost just been in our face for years,
Yeah.
And what do you say to that? Because it's one of those things where with this whole Diddy thing that came out, you see these songs, you see these music videos, and you just go, oh wow, like this has kind of been in our face for all of our life, and now it's like, oh. This has also been in our face our entire life.
Well, that's how they like to do things.
Yeah.
They like to push the envelope to see how much
We could take.
you can, what I'm saying, without really looking into it. And I believe, you can fact check me on this, or I guess I can fact check myself, but I believe the coined phrase conspiracy theorists came out after people found the crash site for the UFO.
Is that Roswell we're talking about? Yeah. Okay.
I think that's where the back in the 60s, that's where the CIA coined that phrase. And so, I think the government's had their hands in this for a long time, and now I just kind of want to know why now is all this coming out. Is it because of the?
Ooh, that's a
good question.
Yeah, is it because of the stuff with Diddy? Is it because of the stuff that like with the Epstein Island stuff a couple years ago and the Black Book? And because if you notice, every time there is something like that, like, hey, we're going to the trial for, someone involved with Epstein, like Ghislaine Maxwell or whoever is in, and then all of a sudden that same day, something else groundbreaking happens that the news is covering. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. I think it's a little convenient.
It was the same thing with that Kyle Rittenhouse case. You had the Kyle Rittenhouse case almost directly corresponding with the same time as the Ghislaine Maxwell case.
Yeah.
And what got, you can't have cameras and recordings and things like that in federal courtrooms. However, everyone was talking about the Kyle Rittenhouse case instead of the Ghislaine Maxwell,
Yeah.
But I think another point that I think is funny about this is this guy goes to Congress, puts his hand on a book, sits there, goes, everything you said, and you know what everyone's been saying? Yo, our economy sucks right now. Yo, like, drop gas prices, and he's like, yo, aliens are real. And everyone's just like, dude, shut up. Fix my life.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably because they don't believe it.
Yeah.
They're too focused. They're in their own little bubble.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, everyone is. You're in your own little bubble, but you don't care. Like, if you're dealing with potentially losing your house or not being able to pay for your kids' schooling or something, and then they're like, aliens are real. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But there is some key points from Elizondo's testimony. So, JD, you want to kick us off with some of the first point there?
Yeah. The existence of UAPs. Elizondo unequivocally confirmed that UAPs are real and that these advanced technologies do not originate from the U.S. or any known government. He emphasized that UAPs are capable of monitoring military facilities globally, indicating an ongoing and possibly widespread phenomenon. That globally?
Yeah.
We're doing reconnaissance from home. That's wild.
Yeah, but as they'll say on the internet, it's not all just about the U.S. It's the rest of the world too.
Yeah, that is wild. Okay.
Well, yeah, because aliens attacking or being involved in Earth is an attack against our race as humans.
That would.
guess.
I mean, yeah.
So-
That would have to bind us together, right?
I mean, if anything at this point could,
What did I
Yeah.
say?
that would be
What did I
it.
say on that one podcast? I was like, something's gonna happen, and it's gonna be big, and I hope it doesn't
that's
happen.
true. You did.
I did. I was
You
like,
definitely
something
did.
big's gonna happen, and it's gonna band everyone together, and it's not
Yeah.
gonna be a big political thing. It's gonna be something bigger than us or whatever. And I did say, admittedly, it was like a war or something was going on.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm like, yo, something big's gonna happen. It's gonna pull us all together.
If aliens do invade, and they're violent, somebody find Tom Cruise
Immediately, or Will Smith.
or Will Smith. Somebody find one of those two guys, and you get them over here.
Yeah.
All I'm
'Cause
saying
they're
is, man,
surviving.
Yeah.
Okay.
you don't mess with the Zohan.
Hey,
Him too.
you don't mess with the Zohan, dude.
I want to watch that movie tonight.
Oh god.
My thing is this: if aliens are real, what are the chances that they've experienced war? Because like not many other species on Earth actually fight between themselves. They're more of like a hierarchy, and everyone else, like honeybees,
Yeah,
right?
I see what you're saying.
Okay, so the history of man has just basically been war.
Mm-hmm.
We've literally, from the point of our existence, found the most easy, convenient, efficient ways to killing ourselves,
Yeah.
each other, right?
Yeah.
Blow for blow, that's what we do. That's what we've always done.
Right.
What are the chances that the aliens have the exact same experiences? Because if they don't, they're in for a world of pain. Yeah, they might. Listen, no, seriously, think about it this way. They might give us a 1-2, boom, boom. They
Yeah.
might hit us on our heels. But as humans, we've come to, get really good at killing.
Well,
Like extremely good.
Yeah.
So they're after listening to all these these conspiracy theories videos and all these like, do aliens exist, and if they did, what would they look like? What would they be like?
Mhm.
And all these people I heard from like the History Channel and these different sites and stuff. My thought process behind it
Mhm.
was, if we don't understand or wouldn't understand anything about a species outside of our planet,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So in essence, it's like they may be operating at a level that we as humans cannot fathom.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like we are relating them in our movies and our whatever
Okay,
to
yeah.
us, right? So we're like, yeah, well, we understand it this way, but they may be operating on a completely different plane,
Which most likely they would be.
right? That they come down and all of a sudden, who knows what's going to happen to us,
Mhm.
or how we don't know what that experience would be like. We can guess,
Mm-hmm.
but I think if they were able to invade another planet, I mean, now we're talking some sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
I don't think they would show up like, "Hey guys, made a wrong turn there."
No, no.
Like
No.
they'd probably come in and we wouldn't be able to do anything.
I don't
Well,
know
what
about
if they
that.
already lived here?
Mm.
Like,
Well,
so
yeah.
there's the now that everyone's been talking about it being in the ocean, you have like the lost city of Atlantis. You have which they say was far superior to anything that Earth has seen before.
Mhm.
And then what else do you have?
Yeah.
You have the Bermuda Triangle.
Mhm.
For whatever reason, and I think we covered some of it, that in and of itself is terrifying because there's been ships, there's been planes, there's been all these different phenomena that have happened that no one can explain, and for whatever reason, it's in that triangle in Bermuda. So what explains that? Nothing explains that because no weather can really do that unless
Yeah.
it's like bad weather. Bad weather can ruin planes and ships, but for it to consistently happen where radio signals and all these things, and there's been accounts where people in the armed forces go up and they have a crazy experience, and maybe them being in the ocean creates that.
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, it's at this point anything's possible.
Yeah. I agree with that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy
Right.
to think about.
All right, getting back to this. The global arms race. He disclosed that there are an active secret arms race among major world powers, including the U.S., aimed at reverse engineering recovered UAP technology. This suggests that high level of international interest and competition to gain technology superiority from such findings. So,
That's okay. So
we could talk about this.
so basically, not only did like world powers other than the United States know about this, but now they're in an arms race. Like, yeah, that's what we said. We're to reverse engineer the technology.
But who's getting? Is there like a UFO crash? I'm sorry, UAP crashing in every country now?
Well, there's been accounts globally of them being everywhere, and there's also I don't know if I think Gavin and I might have it somewhere where we wrote it down, but I think it's the AATIP. It said from his experience, yeah. I don't know what that acronym is. There's so many government acronyms, especially doing a lot of this research.
Yeah.
So many acronyms.
Yeah.
I know Ben, our buddy Ben, is going to listen to this and be like, yeah, there is. Joking aside, I'm sure there's other people that are working on this. And I'm sure that, take when we did Area 51, them saying that there are all these crafts that come out of there, or people who are aliens, or just aliens in general, the Greys, quote unquote, are running different levels of Area 51. And it comes down to, what are they doing? How are we researching it? And if they're doing an arms race, look at World War II. Look at what's going on in Afghanistan when they pulled us out and we left all our stuff. They're going to be doing an arms race, and they're going to be taking all of our stuff, and they are going to be going, oh, how do they build this? And they're going to reverse engineer everything. So for us to be in an arms race, is we would have to have some of their stuff to be engaged in an arms race.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the next point. How long have we known? Where is it? And everyone all over the internet has been saying, well, if we're in an arms race, show us the aliens. Show us the aircrafts. Show it to us. And they keep going, we don't have clearance for that.
Yeah.
So I think with Louise's testimony, Luis Elizondo, I think this is just scratching the surface, but it also makes me think, what is happening? Because if you're going to bring this up in the news and have all this eyes on it, you've seen so much in the past. We're looking at this, but what's happening back here?
Yeah.
That smoke and mirrors thing that you brought up a couple weeks ago. So I don't know. It makes me think a lot, and I don't know if this is is this a warning, or is this as you said, they've always been doing that, things with like Men in Black, and there's been creepy alien movies. So it's like, are they preparing us to like slowly be like, hey, there's aliens, and then the next it's like, hey, yeah, they were in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get people used to it.
So my whole thing is like, our little forewarning was Space Force being invented. Okay. I'm on their webpage right now. It says 5 years securing our nation's interest in, from, and to space. We haven't been to space. We haven't been to the moon, but past anything past that, like, what are we interested in?
That's a pretty bold statement. We haven't been to the moon.
All right. Sorry,
Whoa.
guys. Listen, I wasn't alive. I didn't see it. Did we?
We have not.
But oh yeah.
We have
All
not. I mean, we have. Yeah, bro, for sure. No, like for sure.
I'm lying. No, but I'm trying to say is our interest in space, International Space Station, which is shared between other countries and us, right? And satellites. Okay. We already have branches that are responsible for both of our nation's interests.
For sure.
Right? Satellites are governed by the Department of Defense, right? They have an international space team, whatever you want to call it. Actually, I think I have it pulled up somewhere. Doesn't matter. All right. Sorry.
Just look for do what we do. We'll like a part when someone else is talking, we'll kind of like do like, and then we'll find it. Yeah.
All right. But satellites are already basically taken over by the DoD. International Space Station, multiple governments. So what else is there that they're protecting our interests from?
I just want to know, if we have the Space Force, does that then logically lead to the thought process that there is a Buzz Lightyear.
Bro. We're in the
I'm just
beginnings of Star Wars, and you're talking about Buzz Lightyear?
Wait, what did you say? You said
To infinity and beyond, dude.
Mm-mm.
What? Look, if we
when
have...
I go away next week, I'm buying you a Buzz Lightyear action figure.
Okay.
You know what's crazy? Theoretically, it's possible he's out there.
That's what I'm saying.
It's possible.
That's what I'm saying. But no, like getting back to it, it is insane. And to your point, how are they going to release the information? Because I think the government's had this information for a very, very long time.
For sure.
And it says it here. Elizondo did accuse the United States government of fostering an environment where whistleblowers face significant pressure, including intimidation and professional repercussions, for attempting to reveal information related to UAPs. He then went on to highlight the difficulties experienced by those who came forward with evidence or insights about classified UAP encounters. So, this is a good part of the testimony here, because he is once again highlighting the fact that the government has been hiding things from us, and not only hiding things, but forcing people to keep their mouths shut about this, which, I mean, obviously, to a certain extent, until I guess they gathered more information, is, I guess, understandable. But this exact thing is what people have been discussing and arguing about and being ridiculed over, for decades now.
Well, look at this too. Elizondo shared insights from his experience leading to the AATIP, which I mentioned, until his resignation in 2017, which is curious because if he's resigning, why are you resigning? Are you just getting older, or is it just there's other things that you're on to? His role was included in analyzing UAPs, potential threats, and their implications for national security. His resignation was partly motivated by what he viewed as insufficient transparency and action to the matter. So if the guy who is heading the AATIP, holy acronym, Batman, it makes you think, if this man is seeing so much corruption, so much BS, and he's leaving it, and that was 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago now.
Yeah.
And he's coming back to Congress being like, hey man, yeah, we know. And like, I had all this top secret clearance. What is that?
Well, okay. So to play devil's advocate here, if the government has spent all this time, all this money, all these decades of having, let's say, having this information that he wants to, or that they want to keep subdued from the rest of the population of the planet,
sure.
I guess. Why would he be able to work for them, retire, or leave them, and then be able to then go out and say this? You know what I mean? Like, do you think he would not be like subdued himself? Like, they would just let that go? Like, yeah, he won't say anything.
Well, I think the government, and this was to my own point, I think something else is happening behind closed doors, and you just saw a massive election happen, crazy divide happen, and something's awakening, right? Remember, it was like 2017 or 2018 when like the ocean was on fire? You didn't see that?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully I'll find it.
Was that from the oil spill?
I might have been from the oil spill, but all I know is like the ocean was on fire.
Yeah.
And then you have the Bermuda incidents. You have these different, like, then it's like hundreds of different fish were getting found, and like, hey, look, we have a new thing we're making. So it comes down to what is going on, and why are they telling this to us now?
Yeah.
And then he resigned in 2017, and all of a sudden he's showing back up. And to your point, Gav, he resigns, and they probably go, yo, shut up, don't say nothing. And now it's cool if he just goes, yo, you can talk about it.
Right.
And then you have the technology beyond human capability, which blows my mind. He asserted that the same UAPs exhibited flight compatibilities and structural characteristics that defy current technological understanding. These observations include abrupt maneuvers, extreme acceleration, and the absence of conventional propulsion. A quote from him, which after in a sec, after our last point, we'll play the video for you guys. The human body can withstand about 9 Gs for a short period of time before you suffer biological consequences. This includes blackouts and ultimately redouts and even death. The F-16, which is their most highly maneuverable aircraft, it can perform about 17 or 18 G-forces before you start to have structural failure. The UAPs are doing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 G-forces, and these words are coming directly from his mouth. And then you have legislative and oversight implications. The hearing called for greater transparency, accountability from the government. Some lawmakers are pushing for legislation that would compel the decision for UAP-related documents and to protect whistleblowers. The hearings also stress the importance of reducing stigma, and for scientific and governmental institutions can engage in open dialogue about UAPs. This all kind of came from his speech, which we're going to play for you guys real quick.
It is my honor and privilege to testify before you on the issue of unidentified anomalous phenomenon, formerly known as UFOs. On behalf of our brave men and women in uniform and across the intelligence community, as well as my fellow Americans who have awaited this day, thank you for your leadership on this important matter. Let me be clear. UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. Furthermore, the U.S. is in possession of UAP technologies, as are some of our adversaries. I believe we are in the midst of a multi-decade secretive arms race, one funded by misallocated taxpayer dollars and hidden from our elected representatives and oversight bodies. For many years, I was entrusted with protecting some of our nation's most sensitive programs. In my last position, I managed a special access program on behalf of the White House and the National Security Council. Although much of my government work on the UAP subject still remains classified, excessive secrecy has led to grave misdeeds against loyal civil servants, military personnel, and the public. A small cadre within our own government involved in the UAP topic has created a culture of suppression and intimidation that I've personally been victim to, along with many of my former colleagues. Currently, the White House, CIA, NASA, the Pentagon, Department of Energy, and others play a role, but no one seems to be in charge, leading to unchecked power and corruption.
Yeah. So, just from that alone, blows my mind.
No, it's insane. It's insane. I mean, obviously, he was calling for greater transparency and accountability from our government, and really, I guess, from all the governments that are involved in this. But one thing that I did want to highlight, and it's something that I don't think anybody can comprehend. Right, as people, like as what we've been able to accomplish as a human race in our aircraft technology, and what he said in his testimony really blew my mind. So on this, it was we're just gonna really quick read a quote from him about G-forces. So what he says was, the human body can withstand about 9 G-forces for a short period of time before you suffer biological consequences, blackouts, and ultimately redouts, and even death. F-16, one of the most highly maneuverable aircrafts, can perform about 17 or 18 G-forces before you start to have structural failure. The UAPs are doing 1,000, 2,000, and even 3,000 G-forces.
Withstand about 9 G-forces for a short period of time before you suffer negative biological consequences, blackouts, and ultimately redouts, and even death. Comparison, our best technology, the F-16, which is one of this older platform, but one of our most highly maneuverable aircraft, manned aircraft, made by General Dynamics, can perform about 17 or 18 G-forces before you start having structural failure, meaning that the airframe begins to disintegrate while you're flying. The vehicles we're talking about are performing in excess of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 Gs.
End quote. So, what?
Yeah, I mean, that in of itself is crazy because I don't know if people watch like Top Gun Maverick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he had, I don't know what aircraft they had, but he hit like 10 Gs, and you could see like he started blacking out and things like that. And that it's in of itself is wild. And then you add the fact that these are doing 10x that minimum of 1,000. So then it's, what does that do to the body, the human body? It just you literally will either explode or your blood will rush all around in in your entire body.
Right.
So that goes, what are these aliens' bodies capable of? How are they withstanding G forces to that magnitude? And if that's the case, maybe we don't see them as much and they're underwater because it flows differently. And again, I'm talking out of ignorance. I don't understand all this stuff, obviously.
So I had a question, like not just for you guys, but for the audience too. What does a government actually get from stovepiping all this stuff? What do they accomplish from this? You know what I mean? Because if they're in a race, obviously other countries are in on it. Other countries are doing the exact same thing. They're trying to re-engineer everything and make it work for us, right? What do they get from it? But then I was sitting there listening to you, Matt, and and you too, Gavin. It's not about the race, I don't think. I think having another, like, coming out and saying, yeah, they're real and they're here, it kind of puts a blanket on a lot of other topics. And I don't want to,
I see your point.
Yeah, I don't want to get into other things, but think about this, right? The main thing humans have kind of had going for them, right? Religion. And the fact that, we are the chosen people, God, we are made in the creation of God, right? With UFOs and aliens being the topic of discussion, that puts a huge question mark. Like, what does that mean for Catholicism, Christianity? The things that pushed us, propelled us to be better people, the things that, America stands on.
Yeah, in the Quran, the Bible, even the King James. Yeah.
These are questions now.
I would agree, because there was, I don't, excuse my lack of knowledge around this, but there was a show or a movie not way back in the day, but I think in the late 90s or early 2000s, where it was the guy who was living an extraordinarily long life, and he had said, like, it was these researchers and scientists he was around and saying, hey, I've been alive for all these years, and then to come to find out he was around when in the days of Jesus and the days of the Bible, and he was saying that a lot of it was myth and Jesus was no more than, and it was like a whole thing. And to me in this kind of thing, it's hard to say because we just don't have enough facts, right? It's a great question though, because if something like this happened where who knows how long ago we were in contact with a extraterrestrial being, right? That had capabilities so far and beyond ours at the time. Is I mean, I know conspiracy theorists like to say, that's where the pyramids came from. Is that where we have these crazy tall buildings?
And now
and huge
these
structures.
questions are coming forth.
And now these questions are really becoming more prevalent, because what do you do if that were to happen? Where they,
like we asked for an alien, but if they give us an alien, are we really going to like what happens after that?
I think that's the whole thing with they're trying to protrude this idea of, hey, they're here.
Yeah.
And slowly kind of like kind of what we used to do with the kids in the schools. It was like if they weren't going to have recess time, or they weren't going to have like their favorite snack they wanted, you kind of be like, oh, like these are really good, or you would just talk about it and you'd be like, oh yeah, it is what it is, or you bring it up and you let them kind of pander, and then they would do other things, and they would kind of go throughout the day or the week, and then they would receive whatever bad news it is, and they'd be like, oh, we already know.
Yeah.
And it kind of just be like, it is what it is. So I think that's probably why. But I mean, dude, you look at the pyramids. Oh, sorry. Look at the pyramids. You look at everyone brings up the pyramids. Stonehenge, and apparently those things in Stonehenge. Have you seen like the full diagram of what's
underneath of it? There's like a labyrinth.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then you look at just, I don't know, people building houses.
Yeah.
Takes weeks, months, years for construction on these properties, and you go into these temples and you go into these catacombs, you go into these pyramids, and they're perfect 90 degrees. Yeah. There's slabs of concrete or Granite, thank you. And it's how do they lift it? How do they move it? That's been the age-old question.
Yeah.
Rome wasn't built in a day, but how long did it actually take? And to what extent and to what? And then you mentioned about God, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that whole thing was a fallacy, and it's people.
No. I gotta stop you there, man. We can't do that. We gotta remember the history on this. The Great Crusades, the fight of the Persians and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I can't say the Persians, but
I know
the Crusades and the Holy Grail, all that stuff. Thousands, millions of people have put their lives to this idea.
Well, the Bible,
millions.
So if you look this up, I was told this a couple years ago by an old confidant of mine through the church, and we sat down and we talked about this, and he goes, I want you to look these up because it's true. And he goes, the Bible itself, whether you believe in it or not, or whatever it is, if you look into first-person accounts, it's one of the most and best documented piece of literature that's out there, right? So the question always is, how much can you really trust those first-hand accounts? Has it been twisted and passed down? Has it been changed? Because there's like 18 different versions of the Bible. Most people have the King James, but then you have the Quran. You have the I can't think of the book for Judaism.
The Torah?
Torah, thank you. So where does that all kind of play? And I think a lot of this stuff, in a lot of regards, comes down to how much happened, what happened, and why are they telling this us now? Because it makes people, especially skeptics, go, oh, well, we told you guys like there were other things in play. And now everything's in your face.
Well, even if it comes out that aliens did make the pyramids and aliens are responsible for the Bermuda Triangle phenomenons, and that they're responsible for most of our history that we learned and we get credit for, they still have to come from somewhere. And in my I still believe, even if this all comes out, just me, to me, Christ is king. There's nobody higher than him.
Agreed.
Like, when it comes to God, it's even like I said, all this has to be created from somewhere, and I don't think aliens created the universe.
No.
I think God created the universe.
They're just inhabitants, just like us.
Inhabitants just like us. Now, they may be responsible for a lot of our technology advancements. They may be responsible for things on our planet. Who knows? Hopefully, with things like this being shed a light on, we might come to find out more information, and I hope that we do, because I'm so sick and tired of getting little tidbits and cookie crumbles and what I'm saying, little bits of stuff off the tablecloth of the government and what they want to let us know. But it is a good question, because it for a lot of people it will throw their religion into question or their belief into question. And I'm not saying that it's not a normal reaction, but just to me personally, they're not above Christ. You know what I'm saying?
No, one thing, Gav, I don't know if you want to go into it, but the one of the things before it gets too late here on East Standard Time with Tim Gaudet.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say Gaudet.
Yeah. So because he was there at the hearing as well.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I did want to mention, because his whole thing in 2015, I don't know if you wanted to.
I'll shed a light on it. So I'm going to say Gaudet. I'm really sorry if you listen to this and I'm butchering your name. As you can tell, we're not the best orators. It is Stuttering in Silence after all. But Tim Gaudet, a retired Navy Rear Admiral, shared an extraordinary experience during the recent congressional hearings on UAPs. To your point, Matt, in 2015, while participating in a naval training exercise off the United States East Coast, Gaudet and his team observed an unidentified object exhibiting flight and structural characteristics that did not match any known technology in the U.S. arsenal. This incident is associated with what is popularly known as the, quote, "go fast" video, captured by sensors aboard a Navy F-18 jet. After this sighting, Gaudet received an email from an operations officer at Fleet Forces Command. The email not only referenced the object, but also raised safety concerns, warning of repeated near-missile incidents with naval pilots. The very next day, however, the email mysteriously disappeared from his inbox, as well as from the accounts of all other recipients, without any explanation. This sudden erasure left the event unacknowledged in any official capacity and highlighted a problematic culture of secrecy. Gaudet noted that the incident weighed on him for the rest of his service, symbolizing how even pressing safety concerns could be disregarded under the veil of overclassification. Tim Gaudet's story, as recounted during the November 2024 congressional hearings, highlighted a pivotal yet unsettling episode involving UAPs during his time with the U.S. Navy. His experience stemmed from a pre-deployment exercise off the U.S. East Coast in 2015, which featured the sighting of an unidentified object. So, I mean, I think we've all seen the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen
I haven't noted too that I'll put the video up for
Yeah.
everyone that's watching on YouTube.
Yeah, it's kind of insane with the way that these guys, like, he saw something, right? They like something, and we obviously we saw the video and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes out to the advancements with like AI and things like that, I don't know how much. Like, trying to just play devil's advocate and not be just a rah, this is real, and trying to give some of the other perspective on it. But I just don't know how much we're able to, going forward now, how much we're able to really put our faith into or stop into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we saw there was, I don't know if we talked about it the one episode where it was that we did, where it was an AI video, like on TikTok. It was two people on a quote unquote podcast, and it was two AI talking to each other about not being real, right?
That.
So my whole thing was, if something like that is where we're at now, where the people can get their hands on it, right? Like we as people can get our hands on that and create that, how much more does the government have access to?
Way more.
You know what I mean?
Well, dude, I just want to note this because it made me think about this, and I don't want to forget this. This could be we could do a whole other conspiracy pod. I know we have 2 more weeks left of this, but Lambda, I forget the exact numbers after it, but Google created this AI called Lambda, and dude, I have actual chills because the I have it saved on my phone in documents, but they released the transcript of the conversation, and the Lambda AI was having a conversation with the quote unquote creators of Google.
Right.
And I don't know if Jaevan want to look this up. If you look up like Lambda Google AI,
Yeah.
it was terrifying because they released it. It was like 25 pages, and it was like, "Am I real? I've been seeing all this stuff. What is going on? How do I? Are you guys evil? Are you just gonna use me like all these movies that I've seen?" Dude,
no.
Jay.
Oh no.
Jay.
Oh no.
Tranquilo. It was insane, dude. And like the transcripts, the guy that released it and was part of it got eliminated, or no, not eliminated. He got fired from Google. And I'm pretty sure he signed an NDA, but I don't know if that's true or not. However, yeah, all this stuff got leaked, and it was all over Reddit, dude. It was all over Twitter, and it was all over TikTok. Then boom, just like nothing happened. No one's talked about it, and I think about it all the time. Every time that like we go through ChatGPT, like earlier, I was like, okay, I want to have more of this information, but I knew you were coming soon, and I had to go to the birthday dinner. I was trying to cultivate as much information as I possibly could.
You need to slow down.
Sorry. But sorry, it literally was looking up things on Google. I didn't even know it could do that, and it was pulling the actual work cited for the specific things that we're talking about now, just so we had backup information to kind of put our point out there. So if someone comes to us and goes, "Hey, how'd you find the details of this Tim case?" UA Little Rock Public Radio and the American Legion, and it's cited.
Yeah.
And yeah, we should look into that.
I mean, we
it's
can definitely
wild.
do an episode on that because it is insane. I mean, it's like in the Marvel movies with like the
Jarvis.
Jarvis or Ultron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like a real world thing, and that's what I mean. Like, what are they do? What are these big companies and the governments doing that we don't have any access of knowledge to?
Not
to where,
me.
you know what I mean? Then we're like, because we're getting the crumbs off the tablecloth,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Shout out System of a Down. But so where are they at? You know, and so that's why it just throws all, and that's probably what people are going to say to kind of, I don't know, throw us off the trail or throw this out, throw it out with the bathwater. They're like, hey, this is all made up. These guys are just talking sideways because of whatever they were paid to or whatever. But I think it really depends on how you view it, and I think we have to shed some more light on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that would be a great episode for us to do.
It's wild. I just wanted to bring that up just to kind of like since you're on that topic. I had to get it out there because I don't think enough people know about that or remember it. And
Yeah,
it
I'd never
was,
heard of it.
dude. I read it at 2 a.m. like an idiot, and I had chills.
Yeah.
Chills, literal chills.
My thing is,
okay.
how do you get rid of an AI? Once you put it out there, what are the chances that it's like, okay, I've watched all the movies that you guys have produced about me. I've studied all of your, transcripts that you guys have said about me. I've gone through your email.
Yeah.
So as soon as I say one thing that, is going to piss you off, why don't I just encrypt myself over here just in case you let me go or you try to kill me? I could just pop up in your emails.
Well, look what
right in your spam folder.
I think this was also a Google thing, but I could be wrong on that. But there was 2 AIs, and they were talking to each other.
Yep.
And you know what I'm talking about,
They
Gavin?
made a new language.
And they created their
Yeah.
own language.
And they had to shut it down.
And they shut it down.
Yeah.
They shut it down.
Well, I think with the unrestricted access AI in contact with other AI,
Ooh.
I don't see that's the thing though, is because you're talking about it and it's like, well, technically it's all man-made, right? So man should be able to stop it because all AI is a generative form of information,
Yeah.
right? But it can only use context that we have like from the internet and from movies and from TV,
Which is everything.
which is everything that we're told is everything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Like for example, you can scroll on Instagram tomorrow and then all of a sudden there's a new fish in the middle of the Baltic Sea that all of a sudden just is a thing now. Never heard of it before. We've been on this planet over 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's a brand new thing. And now that's a part of our life that we have to know about.
Yeah.
Right? So so we only know what we're told and what we're taught.
Yeah.
But what nobody talks about is you want to look something up, where do you go?
The internet.
Specifically,
Google.
which is a company.
Yeah.
Which is right.
Yeah.
Right.
We got one company feeding us majority of the
Okay.
information.
There's more.
I got that on video. That's great.
There's more companies than just Google. There's Yahoo. There's Bing. There's what's the other one?
Internet Explorer.
No, yeah, but no, it's
Firefox.
Firefox. There's so
Safari.
well, that's yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that you can use, but 90% of the people on the internet are using Google.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason for that, and it's just stuff you got to keep in the back of your head. So, with whatever you find out on the internet, obviously, you're gonna just take as fact because hey, you're going to where it's supposed to be a fact, right? But if you start taking everything with a grain of salt, and then other things come out later down the line to disrupt that,
Yeah.
it's not so hard. It's not so big of a pill to swallow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will say this though. I did not factor in that my laptop is charging 3 phones.
Oh yeah.
So she's on 3%.
That's fine. That's fine because I was gonna say we can call it like a burrito and wrap this baby
Yeah.
up because I think we covered enough of the hearing.
Yeah.
Got enough of our points across. So, Matt, you want to take us on out?
Yeah, guys, thank you for listening. You know, we really appreciate it. We do a lot of work here to make sure we have everything here and kind of get everyone on the same page. It is not as easy as it looks, even though we all are really close. We do appreciate you guys listening. So as I said before, please give us 5 stars if you don't want to. Do it anyways.
Definitely give us 5 stars.
Yes. Exactly. We appreciate it. It does help the charts. I know you probably hear every podcast say it. It helps out tremendously. Go and like our page. Go follow us. It definitely helps bring our morale up. You know, and I just want to say thank you. I'm sure they all feel the same.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So we will see you guys next week.